Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon as we give you a little bit of a flavor and a preview of our coming Patient Advocacy Summit. We appreciate your time. I'm Kim Kilborn. I'm the newest member of our advocacy team, and we're joined by a lot of members of our staff and our team, including Katie, whom you know, and Nicole Boyce and Carrie Austria, who I know all of you are very familiar with on the advocacy team. So thank you. If you could advance the slide. So we're just going to kind of run through a schedule of events that we have for the days for the Patient Advocacy Summit, and then also the tribute, which is on Saturday, and give you a little idea of the timing. We'll give you a flavor of our jam-packed agenda that we've put together with our agenda team, and we've really put a lot of thought and got a tremendous amount of input in designing a program that really will resonate with our network of patient advocates and our foundation. And we'll give you a little preview, a bit of a sneak peek of some of the things that we've been working on in addition to putting together this summit. And we'll like I said, we'll give you a peek at those, and those we're going to explore more in September at the summit, but wanted to preview those for you today. I want to talk a little bit about our tribute of Champions of Hope, and Nicole will give you a great overview of what she's got planned in store for this year. Give details about the travel and hotel and some of the scholarships that we have available for attending the summit and how you might apply and take advantage of those. And we're also joined today by Barbara Wubbles, who's going to talk a little bit about PPALS, that's the Professional Patient Advocates in Life Sciences Initiative, and she's going to talk a little bit about that also this afternoon. So first, those of you who haven't already marked it on your calendar, the Rare Advocacy Summit is September 24th and 25th this year. We're hosting it again at the Hyatt Regency in Huntington Beach. Our dress is business casual, and of course, please come armed with your very favorite pair of jeans, blue jeans. And we also wanted to remind the advocacy groups who are on the call today that you're able to bring with you, and we encourage you to do so, 100 pieces of one item that you would like to share about your community or an upcoming event or something that you've produced that we can make available to everyone who's attending. To give you a little bit of a round of what's planned over the 3 days of the 2 days of the Patient Summit and then the Tribute Day. We'll have a full day beginning on Thursday, September 24th, beginning with breakfast and a summit programming all day until 5 o'clock. And that evening will be relatively free. I think we're looking to see if we can showcase a bit of a rare documentary that we've been supporting this year, and we'll work for the final details for that. So that could be a fun activity to participate in once our programming is done on Thursday, to take a look at something produced about a rare community that's showcased on HBO. Okay, we'll begin again early with breakfast and start again with our patient summit programming. And I want to just point out that we've got a special guest planned. I don't think I can reveal who it is at 3:30, but the guest will certainly share as a celebrity and will share information about his journey and his family, and is certainly so inspirational and will lead into our community-nominated awards presentation that will take place on late Friday afternoon. So after our awards presentation, we'll have the opportunity to attend a beach theme party on property beginning at 5:30. Okay. For those of you who are able to stay for the tribute, and we hope that you can and will, we have a couple of meetings planned, but I want to also point out some fun, the Mayola Surf Experience. For those of you who would like to try your hand, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I know people really enjoyed this experience from the last trip previously, and we're also hosting, again, a Day of Beauty And the sign-ups for that will be taking place on-site at the hotel. But this is just a nice event for advocates to get themselves all ready to go for the tribute that's going to take place beginning at 5:30 on Saturday evening. So the theme for this year's Patient Advocacy Summit, we've really rallied around the theme of connect, educate, engage, and achieve. And this is how we have looked at all of the sessions and the programming that we have put together to design for you for this year. And the goal is no matter where you are within your journey, whether you have been an advocate for many years or are just newly diagnosed and attending for the first time, there's something for you at this summit. And we are going to preview today a little bit more about what that content is going to be. Please advance. Why attend? We know that we are going to be putting together a huge program that is going to arm you with practical steps and actions that you can take that are really relevant for where you are, whether you are really engaged in research or interested in fundraising for your community, if you're interested in knowing more about drug development or the power of genetic data and how that is so essential to your disease community. We built programs around that. That you will be able to leave the summit with a greater understanding of these topics and really be armed and empowered to take those next steps, whatever it is, whether it be, again, in your nonprofit organization or taking it to the next level, finding new ways and insights to work with researchers in biotech and pharma and even the FDA. Some of our keynote speakers that we're featuring at this year's summit, and they're really, we're excited to be able to have Bonner Paddock join us for one of those keynotes. And he is not only an elite athlete, but he's also the author of his book, One More Step, and he's going to be sharing with us his story of living with cerebral palsy and how he sort of pushed through those limits and redefined what normal is in his life, and give us much to think about in terms of sharing his journey. He was able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It's one of the world's tallest peaks. Competed in an Ironman Kona competition, if you can believe that. He's got an incredible story to share, and we know that he'll lead off providing some terrific inspiration for everyone attending the summit. To that, Pat Furlong will also off as one of our keynote speakers and really kind of set the tone for our meeting in terms of how to begin with the end in mind. And when you're starting on this journey, it's easy to get distracted or derailed in what your key mission is, what your key goals are. And she's going to help put into perspective for her experience how you can kind of look at what your needs of your community are and really be able to move forward and give some really tangible examples of how she has been able to do that with the Parent Project for Muscular Dystrophy. We're so lucky to have joining us this year Dr. Rao from the FDA. She has been leading the Office of Orphan Products Development for a number of years now, and really has become so instrumental in knowing, engaging with the rare patient community and really helping to shape a paradigm that FDA is really embracing in terms of patient engagement and drug development. And she's going to be talking about just really mapping the entire drug development journey with a real focus within the agency on how patients can engage within the process. And I know she'll have a tremendous number of insights to share that we'll build on later in the program as well. And some things that I'll just share today include, rather than going through step by step sort of the agenda, we want to talk about some of the themes and we have designed our programming around. So really around empowering patients and to learning more about funding and sources and how to go after that, and establishing solid partnerships with industry or within the community, and topics around care and support. And we've definitely, and you may recall this topic, it's described in the past, but deep dives where we take some of those broader themes that we've discussed and really drill them down and dive into them more in depth so you can come away with an even greater understanding of these topics. So in terms of the theme of empowering patients, so many of you are going to be familiar certainly with Brad Margus, and he's going to talk about where you start. You have a new treatment or a new cure for your community. How do you really get started? Here, what are your first steps? And so in this session, we're really going to allow you to walk away with 10 things that you'll need to know to advance research and be able to move forward. You have also heard of Google, of course, but maybe not of Google Genomics. And we have joining us on the agenda program this year, David Glazer, who's the Director of Engineering for Google Genomics. And we're going to learn from him firsthand how this company is really revolutionizing how patients can store and share their genomics data. And this is really a new and innovative take, and it's terrific to have such a powerhouse company, technology company like Google behind this that is really going to shape and stimulate how we can identify patients and move forward research opportunities for our community. We're lucky to have with us Joe Leary, who's with the Genetic Alliance, whom I'm sure some of you are very familiar with. He's going to be talking about data. I mean, we hear so much about the importance of data, but to explore topics around like who really owns this informational data and how this data and the importance of this data, how does that lead to a better understanding of your disease? And he will discuss with us why it is so important to a really solid understanding of and how it can propel research and development and investigation into new treatments forward. They're just a snapshot of some of the sessions that we're having. It's certainly not all of them. But as a look at some of the themes that we have surrounding funding and partnerships. So many of you are likely to have heard of PCORI. And with this, PCORI was an outgrowth of health reform. It took about 5-6 years ago now, and was really created to help fund and research around comparative effectiveness of treatments. With it, there's a patient-powered research network program, and many disease communities have been able to take advantage, or have at least heard of this, and fewer still have taken advantage of being able to create partnerships within the patient-powered research network. And Sue's with us to share a little bit more about what that looks like and how your community can take advantage of the funding resources at PCORI and what money is available and what they're really looking for in terms of being able to provide grant funding within the rare community for some of these initiatives. Also hear from Bray Patrick Lake, and she's going to share with us to build a successful partnership with industry, especially when no treatments for your condition are available, and you're really wanting to find innovative ways to engage with industry and to get their attention as you raise awareness for your rare disease. And the right times to start these conversations, and how can you engage most appropriately with industry to form solid partnerships that are going to advance treatment for your community. Additionally, we all know that we are looking for funding to develop a life-saving treatment or cure or an enhanced treatment for the community. So where's the best place to start? Deb Garrity is going to talk a little bit about that as well, and what funding sources might be available to you. In terms of, going to also cover sort of the 5 W's of research funding: who, what, where, when, and why, and help you understand better how you can engage in this space more as you look to advance research in rare disease. Our theme of care and support, I think many of you are also familiar with a parent advocate and the president of the Grace Wilde Foundation. He's going to talk a little bit about what happens when you finally have a diagnosis. We all know that there is no playbook for how to handle these situations, and it can seem really daunting and certainly overwhelming. So he will have a discussion around surrounding the top 10 things that you really need to know once you have that diagnosis, and how you can learn and move through this journey and start to embrace the new normal. I don't know how many of you have had a chance to learn about Yabadoo yet. Certainly not heard of it until more recently. This is a technology platform that will allow you to upload your medical life, help you organize your medical life better. So whether it's test results or key papers regarding your appointments with different specialists, the platform will provide you with it to help you get organized. And he'll talk a little bit more about how you can do that overall, how you should do that online. And we also know that in his session, one of our parent advocate leaders, Lee Schill, to talk a little bit more how you might want to do that on paper. So not everybody necessarily wants to engage in an online platform. Some people really still love paper. So regardless of how you might want to organize your medical life, led by Todd and Lisa, will give you more insight into the value of doing that and how you can really do that effectively. We'll have a session led by Grace Whiting, Alliance for Caregiving, for a leading organization that really is focused on the caregivers, whether it's for rare diseases or more common conditions. And they have just finished a landmark study, a 5-year study with the AARP surrounding the needs of caregivers. Also done some specific research around caregiving in targeted disease communities. And she's going to share with us more insight from what they have learned from their research around the needs of caregivers, and help put that into greater focus and pose some solutions and policies that will help caregivers on their journey and really shed a light on their served population that is helping their rare disease patient loved ones and family members. Our deep dives, I think I talked a little bit earlier about how we're going to be really focused on drug development, with the lead off from Dr. Rao, who's going to really map development and talk more about how FDA is really engaging patients throughout each phase of that process. And within our deep dives, we're going to kind of drill that down and have sessions surrounding, research, clinical trials, and really discussing how patients can engage successfully in each stage of drug development, and with each of those key partners that is so relevant. Of course, industry and government, patients, and researchers are so essential to this entire process. Deep dives will highlight and give you more information about each one of those segments along the drug development journey. I would take a look even more strongly at the topics surrounding data. There's so much to know here, from what researchers can do if they are armed with more data and more information. And these topics will explore some ethical debate on what incidental findings in research are. They'll explore more about carrier screening, really talk more about, from an individual perspective, what you can do when you own, with your data, and maybe even from an advocacy organization perspective, how you can really help educate your community around the need to collect data, as much data as you can surrounding your rare disease. Not a deep dive, but we'll also be giving you a little bit of a legislative update. I know many of you have been actively engaged in advocating for 21st century cures, which just passed the House on Friday. This was a huge accomplishment and a landmark vote, and happen without the uniting of the entire rare disease community and the active participation of patient advocates like yourself, who were calling members of Congress, who were writing letters and sharing your story about the need and value for this legislation. And it really does stand to be able to double the amount of cures and treatments that are available for rare disease patients. And it makes available more dollars for the FDA and for the NIH to put towards researching new cures. But next, so we had that vote last Friday, and now it moves into the Senate. And by the time we reach the summit in September, I think we'll have a lot more information about what activities are going on with the Senate and how they are complementing what happened in the House, and have a better picture of next steps and how you can engage more in making sure that this legislation becomes law. Some details on registering. You can register for the summit online at globalgenes.org/2015 summit if you haven't already. Please, I encourage you to do so. It's a $50 registration for a 2-day conference. And also, share that if you can't make it in person, it is available by live stream webcast. You also need to register for that on our website, and we hope you'll do so. If you can't attend in person, at least you'll be able to take advantage of participating via live streaming. So in addition to all of the wonderful content and sessions and themes that we are putting at this year's summit, I wanted to share with you some of the things that we've been working on in Global Genes and give you a little sneak peek of what we'll be talking about more from that perspective at the summit. So putting finishing touches on a grant program that we'll be launching to help our Foundation Alliance by offering assistance in the form of grants that will provide direct impact to the community. Now, with that, we have been able to raise a little bit of funds to our Denim Dash that we are putting towards this grant program, and we can't think of any better way to really serve our network of patients than developing a grant program. So look for more about that, and we're very excited to be able to introduce this program. So look for more information at the summit. In addition, I talked a little bit about Yabadoo earlier in this call, and we have just finalized a partnership with them to bring the web-based CareBook platform to patients within the Global Genes Network. And this, again, platform will allow you to upload and store your records that are relevant to your care, to appointments, medical testing. And not only that, not only is it a great organizational tool, but it also will allow you to decide how you might set permissions to share that information, whether it's with members of your medical care team, whether you choose to share it with members of family. It's just a great platform to be able to organize your information and access it easily online. Please talk more about that in the coming months. Also putting the finishing touches on a new partnership with Snow. If you've heard of it, it is an online physician-only community. There are 400,000 physicians within this network, and more becoming more every day. And they're already in 7 countries, including the United States, and they are growing by expanding to more countries every. what and Global Genes partnership really looks like is around a rare disease hub. And we feel that this is an exciting way to be able to share information and educate physicians about rare diseases, help facilitate physicians to talk to one another in sort of a safe consulting role to present cases, to get input, and to help solve some of the challenging cases around diagnosing rare diseases. Partnership that we are fairly finalized, and we're excited to be able to work with Sermo on their rare disease hub. Also looking at pursuing a partnership to do a research study with the National Alliance for Caregiving. We talked a bit about Grace presenting at one of the summit sessions. And what we're pursuing with them is a research study specific to the needs of the rare patient caregiver. And we've already been talking about the study design, and we'll love to engage more in our patient community around what that study may look like. And we really feel that it will help produce a data set that will shine light on what we all really know, that there's a tremendous amount of time devoted to caring for patients and loved ones that are living with rare conditions. This is definitely an underserved population. And so the results, we predict that the results from this study will not only help us inform policymakers about the needs of rare disease patient caregivers, but will also help Global Genes identify specific gaps in education and needs that we can address with you through the development of additional educational programming around the area of caregiving. What we'll do as part of this partnership with NC is also to host a congressional briefing where we'll present the results of this rare caregiver study and bring greater awareness to the needs of the rare disease community surrounding different needs. It's not necessarily a sneak peek. Many of you have already been the David R. Cox Prize for Rare Compassion. This is the second year that we have been offering this prize, and many of our advocates have been really embraced this program by being available to reach out and connect first and second year medical students. This prize encourages those students to make a connection with someone with a rare disease or a rare disease family and learn about what their needs are. And read in a 2,500-word essay that talks about that experience, that poses that explores those challenges and really works to pose solutions for the rare community. We think this is an excellent way to work with medical students at the very beginning of their medical career, to have them really understand what disease patients and families go through on a daily basis, and hopefully not only that, but provide really some incentive or encouragement for continuing to maybe take their career in a direction that focuses on rare disease. We've had 100 medical students who have come to Global Genes and asked that we connect them with a rare patient or a rare family as part of this program. The contest closes on August, and we will be announcing the winner. We'll have 3 prize winners this year. We'll be announcing those winners at the summit in September. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have an upcoming webinar on optimizing your loved one's learning and potential at school. This is going to take place on August 5th, and I encourage you to visit our website, globalgenes.org/webinars, to register up soon. And we know this webinar will resonate very much with our parents who are caring with rare disease children who are of school age, and I encourage you to register. Things that I'd ask of the community, and we would like to ask, is that you share information about the summit with your network of patients and advocates that interact with, whether it's through social media, whether you do email newsletters or email blasts out to your community. The summit is not only a fantastic way to learn more about what is new and what is developing within the rare disease community and with research and drug development and all of the topics we talked today, but also it's a great way to connect with advocates in the community and best practices aboard and make lifetime connections within the rare community. So what we've put together through our wonderful marketing team is a number of different graphics that you can share, or sample tweet language, or just language in paragraph form that talks about what the summit opportunity is. All of these apps or bits of information can be also found on our summit webpage. But we would love for you to be able to share the opportunity to come to the summit with your community as well. And you can find that, again, at globalgenes.org/summit-assets, and for helping us spread the word about the summit. So I think now I'd like to turn it over to Nicole Boyce, who's going to talk a little bit about our tribute to Champions of Hope.
Thanks, Kim. And if I could just say a few more words about the summit real quick, just to add a couple statements and some insights. So a lot of the people involved or on the phone have been to many patient summits and other types of conferences. And one of the things that's very important that we're hoping to achieve here is to make every breakout, every panel very actionable, so that patients will walk away with the next step, regardless of whether it's addressing a certain aspect of the drug development cycle and where you might be at, whether you're an individual funder or a patient advocacy organization. The goal is that you walk away with real action items and real next steps. Every session, we will be walking away. We will have science writers available so that we can have follow-ups and mini toolkits developed based off some of the sessions. In addition, prior to attending the event, we've been working very hard on some very robust toolkits and an actual visual roadmap of the development cycle that will help make it very clear and take a lot of the complexity out of what it means to develop a drug, what that whole entire cycle looks like. And we're going to try to simplify it in a way that gives everyone an opportunity to understand, this very complex process and kind of where patients play and how can you play an active role in drug development to helping find treatment, therapy, or cure for your condition. Whether you're early in the rare disease community or you've been involved for a long time, we want to assure everyone that there's definitely something there for everyone, whether some of you are participating in panels or, participating in some of the sessions. Also, in true Global Genes fashion, like Kim had mentioned, we want to take you down that path, the rare disease path through, bringing some inspiration to the table with some of our very compelling participants. We want to talk through what it means to, jump in full force into this crazy world of rare disease. How do you build organizations? How do you create longevity and a successful organization that can grow and evolve and become successful in your efforts related to, advocacy and support and drug development for your condition? What does that look like? And how can you create an organization that will be sustainable and successful in the long run? To details about different aspects of drug development. What do you need to do? What do you need to be thinking about out the gate to be super successful as you move down that path? What are the tools that you need to embrace? What are those 10 things that you need to make sure you're addressing or tackling as a leader in a rare disease organization so that you can move down that path to attractive to research or to biotech, pharma, and when, at what time do those partnerships need to be developed? So we have to help out there. We also want to dive deep on topics related to these things, not necessarily only drug development, but what are the big questions around? Everyone's talking about data, like Kim mentioned. Well, what are the things that you have to think about? Consent. What does that mean? What does it even look like? How do you craft something that's going to be mutually beneficial with the organizations that you're working with, but allow you to own data and make it available, forever to whoever is looking at or caring about your condition. So how do you craft those? What are the things that you need to think about? So again, we just want to make sure that everyone really understands that this is for you. This has been developed by a panel of patient advocates, partners, those that have made a huge impact in a very short time in rare disease, and those that have been involved for a very long time. We've gone out and made sure that, what has been developed for this summit is relevant and actionable, and that you will walk away saying, wow, these are the best, these have been the most compelling 2 days I've spent outside, away from home in a long time, and we really hope that you believe that. As we have in the past, we want to extend the opportunity to have you guys become involved in some of the activities following the summit. As those that have attended in the past know, there's quite a lot that happens, which makes it fun and exciting, tiring, exhausting, but again, walking away inspired and educated and, excited about, kind of tackling the world. And that starts with some of the activities that Kim had mentioned happening on Sunday with some of our advocacy and nonprofit partners like Malleola Foundation and Beauty Bus, the activities that they also helped us with last year. And then we move into the incredible Tribute to Champions of Hope, where we announced yesterday who some of the individuals are that have been nominated, have won the award. We will have 2 sessions. We have a session for the awards happening end of day on Friday, but then followed by, some being, brought on stage at the main event on Saturday evening, but all will be recognized in some way at the main event on Saturday.
Hello? I think we may have lost Nicole.
I think we did.
Nicole, you there? So, this is Kim. And so I think they served the tribute beautifully. It's a wonderful event. We're awarding and recognizing leaders and advocates in the community, and I hope they'll be able to join us for that event as well. Back, maybe she'll share. If Nicole's able to get the line back, she can share a little bit more about the tribute.
This is Carrie. Kim, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a little bit of travel and hotel info with our guests. Yeah, and as for those of you that have been to our events before in the past, there's a lot of education. The gala is truly an amazing evening. A huge part of this is really getting to know each other as advocates. As a rare parent myself, I think some of the biggest biggest things that I've gotten out of the summits is the networking that I have made. I have made such incredible connections with people who are in similar disease states as the one I work with, as well as just other people who have such fantastic ideas. I'll be able to share some of what I know with others who are following up a little bit behind where I am. So we really want to encourage you to be able to come out and work. Our team at Global Deans is really want to help as much as we can. We have several scholarships available that we would like to be able to offer to all of our advocates. If you go on our website under the summit page or use the link that you see on the WebEx, you can apply for those scholarships. It's anywhere between $250 to $500 depending on location and depending on the number of requests that we get. But the deadline is coming up. It's July 27th. So if you or if any of your colleagues or other members in the community really want to take advantage of this scholarship, and we hope you do, please make sure you register your request before the deadline. As Kim said earlier, we're at the absolutely gorgeous Hyatt Huntington Beach Resort and Spa. Nicole and our event team really know how to put on a heck of an event. Be able to get to us, it's really easy. The John Wayne Orange County Airport is probably the closest. The Long Beach Airport is a little bit farther. And there are shuttles from actually all three of the airports, including LAX, that we would recommend that you take to join us. But if you have any questions in terms of booking your hotel or travel that is not covered on this, our team wants to help you be able to get there in the best way possible. And so please feel free to reach out to myself or Amy Grover, who many of you who attended last year, who is our event coordinator. We will be more than happy to help you guys with whatever assistance you need to be able to get you guys there. But if you can't make it, and although we hope you do, we really do want to encourage you to take advantage of the live stream. We're going to be setting it up this year that those who are interested in the live stream will have copies of the agenda so that they will be able to attend whatever sessions are of most interest to them. So you don't have to sit in front of your computer for the entire 2 days, but you can choose those sessions that are really important to you and your community. And you'll also be able to participate with us live via Twitter to our hashtag that we'll be giving out. And for those of you there last year, it was kind of cool how we had some Twitter questions being thrown at our panelists that came straight from those at home. So we want to be able to present that again this year. So again, just reach out to us if you have any questions on the travel or the summit or the gala. And Katie, if you don't mind moving on to the next slide. Thank you very much, everyone.
Nicole was able to join us again, and I just want to make sure, Nicole, before we move on to the PPALS portion of our discussion, if you wanted to add anything more.
I apologize about that. I don't know what I'm on my cell phone. No, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows, and to please, spread the word that, we take feedback very seriously, and a lot of what we've mapped this event, this summit agenda to, has been based on feedback following last year's summit, feedback from patients, feedback from our last year's agenda partners and collaborators. We try to ensure that every year, people walk away with real value. And again, we're trying to make it typically, we're trying to make it so that people can afford to attend. All too often, all of these events have very steep fees that make it almost impossible for people to come because of travel costs as well as costs just to register. So thanks to our sponsors, we have an opportunity to really give patients a phase of education and learning, allow them to get away, to network, to be inspired, to feel part of the community in a way that doesn't normally happen, outside of, really the disease-specific family conferences, et cetera. So just know that, Carrie can attest to this. Many of you know Carrie and Kim. We take a lot of pride in trying to deliver to you guys a really compelling agenda, a meaningful agenda. We want you to walk away exhausted with a smile on your face, and most importantly, with really specific next steps that help you as you move forward on your journey I believe that the whole entire summit agenda is available online. We will be continuing to update it. There are a few additions that we'll be adding very soon, so please take a look. It's on our website. But again, huge thanks to everyone involved in developing the agenda. We have some really interesting people participating that many of you have not heard from before. We want to bring new, we want to bring innovation. We want you, like we said, to walk away feeling like these have been some of the best days that you've spent away from home in a long time. So again, thank you so much, Kim, and thanks, Carrie, and to everyone involved. And I will sign off, but thank you again for allowing me to share.
Okay. Cool. We know all of the sentiments of how excited we are to put together such a compelling agenda summit, and look forward to seeing all of you there. And I'm looking forward to meeting so many of you finally in person that I had the pleasure to talk with over the phone. Now I'd like to introduce Barbara Webbles. She's going to talk a little bit about an initiative that she's working on.
Everybody, thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. I have been to all 3 of the Global Genes meetings, and I cannot recommend them highly enough. It's the best 3 days you'll spend for your professional career. So, I want to talk to you today about an organization that's new called Professional Patient Advocates in the Life Sciences. A reflection of the evolving role of the patient advocate and the need to try and take it to the next step. So this organization was established in Q1 of this year after 3 years of preparatory work. We received seed funding from several rare disease companies to help us get it off the ground. And the board of directors are Jean Campbell, Jane Gershkowitz, and myself. This is to recognize and foster the strategic value of patient advocacy as an integral function in the drug development process and throughout the product life cycle. While all of the roles and responsibilities of people who serve in this capacity are somewhat diverse, we all share a common purpose, which is to bring the voices of the patient and the profile of the patient advocacy organization to the company. The mechanism for a national accreditation for professional patient advocates is being created through a comprehensive course that we are developing in collaboration with Sanford Research Institute and Global Genes. For those of you who are not familiar with Sanford Research Institute, it's a very large healthcare organization in the upper United States, like Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. The Research Institute itself is actually located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they are very focused on patient advocacy-related research. I believe they gave a talk last year on the registry program that they have developed, which is open to people to use for rare diseases. So we'll be partnering with these 2 groups and offering a course soon. So our initial kickoff meeting will be the day after the Global Genes Gala, right there at the hotel in Huntington Beach. We would encourage people to come. This meeting is for individuals who currently work as patient advocates within the pharma or biotech company, which is people like myself. We will also be developing another arm to this organization, which will be for people who are working as patient advocates for advocacy organizations. In an effort to raise the level of professionalism among all of us, we will have an initial course in the spring of 2016 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, will be held at the Sanford Research Institute. 2 arms to this course. One arm will be for people from advocacy organizations who are either board members or executive directors. So they're people that already have some knowledge of patient advocacy and want to increase their professional skills. The arm will be for people like myself who are already working in the pharmaceutical portion of patient advocacy. The part of the course will lead, upon completion of the coursework and a project, to certification as a professional patient advocate. So hope that this will help people in job seeking, in determining where they belong in a pharmaceutical organization, the level of their job, and overall just create a more professional environment and expectation for people who claim to be patient advocates. So if you have a patient advocacy certification, you have tools to take into a job interview and say, I'm certified in this field. So this is the beginning steps of developing a recognized specialty in patient advocacy for both people in patient advocacy organization side and the professional life science, pharmaceutical or life science side. We're very excited to be getting this off the ground. We look forward to talking to all of you at the Global Genes meeting. And if you have more questions or want more information, please contact Jean Campbell. Her email contact and phone number is at the bottom of the second slide. Thanks for letting me join you today, and I'm counting the days till I see you all in Huntington Beach. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Much, Barbara. Absolutely wonderful initiative, and we know that in the growing field of patient advocacy is such an important function, and glad that you have launched this initiative, and glad that we're able to partner with you on it at the summit and beyond. If you could advance the slide. So thank you so much. I just wanted to share our contact information so that you had it handy if you didn't already have it. Our advocacy team of myself and Terry and Lisa, as well as our entire team at Global Genes, is working on your behalf on elements of the summit, on our educational programming and resources. I just wanted to make sure that we shared our contact information with you. And as Carrie said, reach out anytime you have any questions or needs or concerns, and we're so happy to talk with you about those. So a meeting like the Patient Advocacy Summit couldn't take place without the generosity of our sponsors, and so I want to make note of them here. And you can also find a list of all of the Advocacy Summit and our tribute on our webpage, but just wanted to thank all of our sponsors again for helping support this meeting. So really, we all really appreciate the time that all of you have taken to join us today to learn a little bit more about the summit. I think someone earlier said it best. It's going to be the best 2 days that you've spent, and that's what we're certainly striving for, is providing you with those education and tangible resources and tools and next steps to help you on your journey. And we are so looking forward to seeing all of you there. And again, thanks for joining us today, and certainly reach out if you have any questions about the summit or about the tribute. A wonderful afternoon, and thanks again. Remember,